Students, society. Join me, Benjamin Murubani, your host, in a student's mental, emotional, and psychological well-being podcast, engaging with professionals, affected individuals, last but not least, people from different organizations in our studio. Welcome to We Now Listening with BM, a podcast. Ciao.
Welcome to another whooping episode, and today we're just going to be discussing about stress management. And I'm with my man Zbu, but I'll let him introduce himself so that he can get his part of the camera as well.
I'm good, man. Hello, guys. My name is SIBUSISO SKHOSANA. I'm just a humble guy from Ikageng. Also, I'm practicing as a social worker. Hence, we are discussing something I would say a bit more sensitive, like stress management. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Now we are happy to have you actually, especially coming from a profession that's meant to help people, and that's all like the show is all about, trying to help people in ways that they cannot help themselves. So before we dive into everything and like anything, I just want to know how stressful is your profession?
Yo, bro. I mean, every day you dealing with people's problems. From you never deal with the same problem. Yeah.
It's a very flexible profession in a way.
It's not flexible in a way, but it's because I'm a generic social worker. So I do almost everything. So you come with someone who is abusing substances, we are there. You come with people that are having family problems, we are there. You come with someone who is having financial problems, like maybe they can't budget. You need to be able, as a social worker, to say this is have a little bit of knowledge about budget. Someone who is maybe having a problem of gaining weight, so you need to know about diets and nutrition and all of that. So as a generic social worker, you have to know a little bit of everything. So
I heard you mentioning having trouble gaining weight. I think I should come see you, man. I've been this thing for way too long. I don't know if my BMI is low or what, but yeah, I've been like this. You mentioned you're a generic social worker. Like, are there other types of social worker which like specifically focus on certain things, like only certain things?
you get forensic social work. You get social work that focuses on strictly family problems, like maybe your farms are, you get there's other social workers like EAP, Employee Assistant Program. It's still a social worker, but is more focused on companies. You there's specific, there's generic, meaning once you start, you get into social work, you're gonna start as a generic social worker, but then as time goes on, then you can specialize, become like do specific things. Yeah.
Because like the reason why I asked about that is like I wanted to come and understand if whether your profession is the one that has more stress related like issues or the other ones. Because I feel like if you are specializing now, it's much easier because you're focused on one thing and one thing only, or maybe one or two things. But like you said, if you're a generic, it means like you're general in all the things. You need to know a lot of stuff. You need to be there for literally everyone in a way. That could be stressful because now you have a lot of baggage to carry, a lot of weight. And I just want to know, how do you deal with like the stress that comes with like your work to start there?
I think like you're saying, So we're gonna discuss stress or define stress at a later stage, né? But what I'm trying to say is stress is subjective. A social worker in a generic field, they have stress, and a social worker specializing, they also have stress. So I can't say my stress is more it's more intense than because we all experience stress in different ways. And I think for people that are specializing, as much as they are working with a specific problem, but they are dealing with different people, so it's the fact that you are dealing with, you can't apply a blanket approach to people, so people come with different emotions, and they come from different backgrounds. So at the end of the day, you are still stressed, whether it's at a specialized field or at a generic field. Stress is there. So maybe I should sort of like try and define stress.
Yeah.
And
Because like if I were to think about it, it's different, like the stress dealing with people and the stress dealing with tasks is different, because not the same. People have emotions, people have difficulties, people have problems, and a task is just a task. It has deadlines, it has like not being able to carry it out effectively or how you want it. Maybe there's a malfunction in the computer, or if you're writing down, you're experiencing, I don't know, maybe a sore hand or something, can get frustrating and all. So I think it's best if you can just try to define stress in more general terms so that it can fit on both. Because like what we will be discussing more, it's focused on the task, getting the task, and also the deadlines from either your task or from the people, like people expecting you to do something in a certain period of time and not maybe giving you enough time, or you just wasted time on your own. We never know.
so stress in itself is actually a good thing. So stress is a natural human response, or your body's response to a change of circumstances. So once you are introduced to something that is new to you, then your body releases it's like it tries to defend itself. So then that's where stress comes in. It's a natural response to a change of environment, or a change of scenery, or you are introduced to something that is new to you. So you tend to become stressed. It's a normal human emotion. Everyone is having that response. So it's how you respond, or maybe how you think about it, that's going to determine if it's a destructive type of stress, or it's just a normal positive stress.
Yeah, because like you said, how you respond to it and how like you like deal with it in a way. Because I know I've heard from like my experience, someone told me that stress can be broken down into two things. It can be positive stress and it can be negative stress. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, because now it's stress. I want to know, how is it possible to have like two sides or two like outlays? And they said to me, all right, the positive stress is a stress that motivates you to do something, but the negative stress is a stress that prevents you from doing something. And I'm sure from like the academic side, the stress that we always have, it's more of a negative stress. And what we want to achieve today is just like, how can we deal with the negative stress and try to function and still be a whole after completing a certain task? Because a task is a task, it needs to pass. but you'll be the last man standing after it. We need to make sure that, all right, after you stand, you are able to carry on, you are able to function. So how would you manage like negative stress as a student? Because I think you were once a student, hence the profession.
Maybe just to give example of first positive stress and how, like for instance, if you have a test that you are writing and you are stressed about it, but that stress causes you to, it sort of like gives you more energy to study, or for some people to even cross night, so it's stress, but you are able to push even harder than in a normal circumstance. So that is where positive stress comes in. But negative stress is when it paralyzes you. You can't do anything. So negative stress, it's mostly in a long term. It's mostly long term, where you're always feeling like nothing is going your way. You become, sometimes you become depressed, sometimes you have like your anxiety attacks. That is like your body's response to stress, or let me say physical responses. That's when physical responses, you get tired, like nothing seems to be going on, nothing seems to be working. Emotional responses is like when you get your anxiety attacks, when you get your you start feeling depressed. You get into this dark place that it seems as if you are stuck there. I think how the best way to manage stress is to first accept or embrace it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, to first acknowledge that there's gonna be changes. There's gonna be things that happen that causes me to adjust or to adapt. Not everything is going to go my way. So once you change your mindset into that, then when something happens that you, maybe it's sort of like beyond your control, you don't get into like that deep hole. You understand that there are things that I cannot change. So you focus on the things that you can change and leave the things that you cannot change. So the first thing, it would be to accept that there's stress. There's something called stress, and have a clear understanding of what positive and negative stress is. And the second thing, maybe when coming to tasks, is planning. I think a lot of us, especially with students, sometimes it's like we want to go with the flow. But I've listened to a lot of successful people, and they have plans and they have routines and they are consistent on that. So it manages the stress. It reduces the stress when you plan your things. When you know, I have these assignments and this is what needs to be in at this time, this is what needs to be submitted at this time, and you plan around that, and when you achieve those tasks, you celebrate. I think a lot of us, we want to celebrate when we graduate. But when you have tasks and you achieve them, no matter how small they are, and you celebrate that, I think it encourages you to keep going. So celebrate even the smallest things. Plan your things and stick to your plans. Surround yourself with people that support you and support your plans.
And respect it as well.
Yes, respect it. I always say, if you have friends I can be your friend and you don't struggle with grasping content. You know, you just take a book, wabala,
And then
and
that's
then Kausani you can produce it. But maybe I need more time. You know, so if I'm the one that needs more time and I tell you, "Hey, Mona, this is my schedule, this is how I plan to achieve my tasks, and you are my friend and you care about me, you should support that. You know, you should know, okay, my friend, and even maybe help me. Oh, this is if you are struggling with this, this is how I can help you. You know, so planning, and when you have achieved something, you take it out. You know, you take it out. So
it also provides a sense of progress. You can see where you started, where you are now, and where you like going. Exactly. We like to wait for the time to be closer to the deadline, and that's when we start wanting to do something. Would be like, okay, I'm only writing semester test 2 weeks from now. Oh, so now I still got time. I can do 1, 2, 3. I can go out and see Sboo. I can go out and chill. I can go out watch a movie. I can go watch TikTok or something. And then when the time comes, you'll be like, oh, flips. I shouldn't. You know, those I shouldn't have. It's what puts us under a lot of stress because, like you said, you need to accept. Firstly, when you realize, all right, now time flew and I'm behind time, I need to push. You need to accept that, okay, I'm the one who made the decision to waste time. Let me own it. Let me move on from that. Let me focus on the moment and push forward. Because if you stress about what you should have done or you could have done, then it just exactly it just puts you under a lot of stress because thinking about the tasks and everything, you can, like you said, plan. When you plan, you know, all right, I need to write certain assignments in this week and I need to complete 1, 2, 3. Tick it out, provide positivity, a great energy atmosphere. So you're not always stressed. But even if you are stressed, after completing a task, you'll be like, oh, wow. Exactly. And it's so important for students to realize that completing a task is as important as like accepting that, all right, I took time to complete it, but eventually I managed to complete it. I need to like celebrate myself. I need to thank myself because I was always taught to like study for 30 minutes. If you feel like you can't take it anymore, just have a Kit Kat, have a break. Nah. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, have a break, man. Like um, appreciate your efforts as small as they are, appreciate it. And one thing I want to tap again into is like respecting your friend's schedule, respecting your friend's abilities or capabilities. You know that, okay, he's my friend, he never studies and he always studies when the time comes. Let me find an environment, or let me create an environment for him where he can do both unknowingly. So because if you tell them go study, man, they're gonna like exactly. They'll be like, no, I don't like it when someone tells me to do something because I know I have to do it. You do know, but like, are you doing it? That's the first question. Are you doing it? You're not. So like, I think creating an atmosphere for your friend and respecting their time when they say, okay, I'll be, yo, if I can reflect, in my first year, it was so difficult for a lot of us because what we would do, like as I mentioned in the previous episode, we would sit for hours and talk for hours and hours. But then when we leave that setting, we go to our rooms, something hits our mind and be like, bruh, you just wasted 5 hours. You could have done something. So now you in that like that mode, you're reminiscing about, I should have done this, I should have, but you didn't. So accepting that and realizing it sooner before you fall into that trap as a student, because I feel like literally each and every first year falls into that. Like they'll be wasting time because this is a new environment. They want some comfort. And stress, as you said, it's a body response to a change of environment, to a change of circumstance, to a change of something. So we like to put ourselves in a comfort zone, not realizing that later on we'll need to take ourselves out of it. So that's exactly what I need you to try and help us out, as you've been a student and now you're a social worker. So basically you had ways on how you get out of your comfort zone and allow stress to positively impact you instead of negatively impact you. So that's what I am.
Yeah, they say if you if you are watching a soccer match, ne, or most stadium, and you are watching, you see how that man nka ba entse so, like you can play the game better because more you are not in the game. You are not in it. So I mean, I can't say I was when I was a student, I had plans. I could do this, I could do this, but the fact that I went through that, and now I'm sort of like in the crowd, I can see how I could have avoided a lot of things. How I could have avoided a lot of stress. One thing I think a lot of students re buang is I work best under pressure.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think that is a way of, lying to yourself, because it's something that can be avoided if you plan your things. You don't need to work under pressure. You can work, you can be at your best without the pressure. And I'm sure you can be even like way more better go sena pressure, so it's like I said, planning, and celebrating your achievements. One thing I there's someone in my life, he was a mentor, or he said, if you are doing something, do it 100%. If you are studying, 100%. If you are having fun, 100%. Because you don't want to be studying and thinking of having fun. It's a mentality of, if I have a chance to have fun, do it 100%. If now it's time to study, it's time to do my work, do it 100%. Because if you are doing things half, at the end of the day, you are left with things that are done half, but nothing is complete. So if you are studying, you do it 100%, you put in your 100%. If you are partying, you're putting in 100%. At the end of the day, you are satisfied. You can't live your life, focus on your books, don't have a social life, but have balance. Have balance, and in that balance, to go all out in whatever that you are doing, but be conscious of the time, be conscious of what needs to be done. I always say to especially people younger than me, if you are at school, do what you must do. Which is like focusing on your books, doing this and this, so that at a later stage you can do what you want to do. So
I'm sorry for like speaking over you. The thing is, I'm seated here and I got so much excitement. I feel like screaming because like everything you've been saying, it's so true and it's so powerful. Starting from like the part when you said the better player is the one who's watching than the one who's playing. Yo, like that part hit me so much. And as I sat here, I thought about it and I realized how it was when I was in high school. I felt like high school was the most depressing phase of our life. But when I go to varsity, I was like, nah, high school is nothing, man. Varsity is the real deal. And like now you just said, when you were a student, it was different for you. But now you can see better what you could have like avoided, what you could have changed, what you could have done better. So I think the most important thing students must take away from this is that you need to ask the people who experienced this before. They are the better ones who can judge you. Because I think I once heard a quote saying, you cannot judge yourself if you're in a frame. You need to be outside of the frame. Look at the frame so that you can judge it. So you cannot necessarily effectively help yourself if you are in the midst of like all that harsh experience. You need someone who has experienced it and now has two sides or two eyes into whatever that you're going through. And another part like that you mentioned that got me is like doing everything 100%. Because once you do, like you said, you become fulfilled, you become satisfied. Once you leave it like at 50%, you leave in room to go back to it. So there's space for distraction in a way. Hence, when you start studying, you'll be like, I'll study for 10 minutes and then go back, watch TikTok again. Because like you didn't watch TikTok enough. So I don't know how I'm feeling right now, thinking about everything that you've been seeing, and some of them I'm still trying to process everything. I think I should just let you say your part, and I'll just be here, getting mesmerized and all that, man. Yo,
Yeah, man. So I think also another way of managing stress is eating healthy.
yeah,
Because I think a lot of us we're not aware gore the food that we eat also has an effect on our your hormones, your which your hormones leads to your emotions, um, and I know as a student sometimes it's difficult because you survive on the noodles, you survive on tinned fish
yeah,
and
true.
and all of those things. Sometimes you don't even have the food. So it's something that maybe at a later stage you can um, incorporate your diet into part of your stress management. I mean, I was a student and not a very well off one, so dieting was never that is available that I can eat. But now that I am working and I'm able to have an influence in what I eat, and I have a choice on what I want to eat, then yeah.
It's nice having a smartphone in a way, because like my word, it records like sound. So basically, you have been recorded. So it picked up a few points that I just want to give to the people at home, because what we discussed is very important. So I thought about like getting it out and then giving it to them. So basically, from what we actually discussed, how can you like manage stress? The first thing you need to do, you have to accept and embrace it. Accept that there's gonna be a change of circumstances, a change in a comfort zone, and change in environment. You need to accept and embrace that. That's the first step into managing your stress. And like the second one is ask those that have been there, because they know better. They can judge better than you. That's like in the play at the moment. And the third one is do everything to the fullest. I feel like this is the most important one. Do everything to the fullest so that you don't spend time like focusing or being distracted by something if you're doing something important. Then the fourth one, incorporate a healthy diet. Stop these noodles and whatnot. It's a student life, but you gotta stop that as well. Respect your time and schedule, as well as of people around you. That's a way of helping them out with stress management as well as you. And the last one is no stress is part of life. It's bound to happen. Control what you can, accept what you can't. So before I close this up, I just want to give Sbu 1 or 2 minutes to just wrap up, and that'll be all. Yeah. What can you say, like the last words to the people at home? What is your say?
I had like two last two or one last point, which has to do with training, or some form of exercise. Because what happens is, in you trying to manage stress, ne? Some people end up taking hobbies or destructive coping mechanisms, like your alcohol, excessive drinking, drugs, and all of those things. So it's important to choose a good coping mechanism, which for me I would advise, not necessarily alone training, but some people are into music. Music helps you relax. Music, musical instruments. When you play your piano, when you play your guitar, whatever. But with gym specifically, or with training, any form of physical exercise, it releases a they call it a happy hormone. So for someone who is at gym training, they are experiencing that happy they release that. And someone who's snorting cocaine, or they are also experiencing that release of. But this one is destructive, because you're gonna now depend on, as a coping mechanism, you're always gonna go to smoking, but then it becomes destructive, because now you have to maintain,
Just to survive.
sometimes you don't have money, now you become into so this one is destructive, but both of them are coping mechanisms.
Just choose the best one, and the safer one.
One that benefits you in I mean, when you are training, because a lot of people think people that train, they just want to look good. It's not even.
And take our
it's not
girlfriends.
that. And surprisingly, the more you train, you don't even get attention from girls. The bigger you get, the more muscular you get attention from guys. Hey, Muna, I see your biceps, and so girls don't have like, they don't even care about those things, But so it's more of an emotional thing than it is. Physical is just like a second hand.
It's a byproduct.
Yeah, but a lot of people that go to gym, it's about. I mean, I go to gym because the work that I do, every day I have like so much in my head of the people that I've been dealing with, and I go to the gym, and when I leave, all of that is left at the gym, So one person once said to me, rugby is a very peaceful sport. Wow. And then I'm trying to think about it. How is it peaceful in like this?
So much tension,
There's,
everything.
But how you explain, the more they clash and they are physical, after the game, all of that is left in the field.
Wow.
They go out and they go drinking, and they having fun. Wow. So all the tension, all the anger, all the whatever, it's left there. So it's the same as when you train. You train, you tear your muscles, and but at the end of the day, the other side, your emotions and everything is yasala more. So it's not that everyone everyone lift weights, even just running, going for a run, any form of physical. There's people that do like your yoga. So find a way of coping, and a not a destructive way, but one that benefits you. Yeah. So, in conclusion, I guess stress is something that is always going to be there, you know. So it's a matter of us embracing it, learning to, if I cannot change something, I cannot change it. You know, maybe what I can change is how I respond to it, because I'm in control of my emotions and how I respond to things. But if it's something I cannot change, I cannot change it. So yeah.
So yeah, that was good, man. And like, I'm just this was good. This was the content, guys. I hope you like it and I hope you love it. Till next time, bye.
Oh, goody goodos, my Gundi. We have reached the end of our episode. If you like the video, hit that like button. And if you want more of this great show, hit that subscribe icon and the notification bell to hear from us again. Do follow us on all respective social media platforms, same handle. And we're now listening with BM at Podcast. That was the content, guys. Hope you like it and I hope you love it. Till next time, bye.